Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream. Happy New Year. Hope everybody had an excellent New Year and hope everybody uh, enjoyed the night, the evening. It's already heading into January 2nd down in Australia. I stayed home last night. Actually went out for a little while, saw some fireworks, and then came back home. What's up, Charles, Axe, Agent Fletcher? That's a good idea, Daddy. What's going on, guys? I've got a lot of videos to share with you guys. Obviously, we're going to talk about the massive earthquake. AK, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Noodlehead. Watchman 100. Hello, family. I got some new Star family members. If you guys would be interested in becoming a Star family member, you can do so at the link down below in the description box. Um, Kalo, Charles Hodge. Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year, Sandra L. Bob Dog. I got another monitor over here that's got all the comments and stuff rolling over here, so I can see it easier. It's actually a much bigger monitor. It's difficult to see on this monitor, and also I can't have it on here. This monitor right here in front of me, and then try to share information with you guys. And I have a lot to share today. I have a lot of information I want to get to. I have a lot of videos to share with you guys, and we're going to talk about this massive earthquake that brought the new year in Japan. Uh, 2024 started off with a massive solar flare that created a solar tsunami. Yes, a tsunami on the sun. It happened. I've seen them before, but never on New Year's like this. So makes you wonder, is this a sign of bigger things to come? We're going to take a look at that possibility in this video. Could we see more of this activity? Is this a sign that bigger activity is in store for us in 2024? We'll look and see. We'll look and see. I've also got some video footage to share with you guys. A couple things I want to talk about in case you've seen it. In fact, we will get right to that. Here's where the earthquake occurred 25 miles from one of the largest nuclear facilities on Earth. Are you serious? Right here. Okay. Here's where the earthquake occurred. I mentioned it this morning in a quick video. The earthquake occurred during the overnight hours over here in the U.S. In fact, I think about 12:10 my time, just as we entered 2024. I mean, literally within 10 minutes. I think I have the chart here somewhere. Yeah, quake list. Here we go. Yeah, right there. Check it out. 12:10 a.m. Now this is my time, my local time. 10 minutes into 2024, 7.5 ring seismographs all over the earth. And seismographs did pick this up all over the earth. But there's the epicenter. Obviously, it was felt all over Japan. Have some video footage from Japan of this earthquake as it was underway. And you're going to see cameras shaking and obviously cameras shaking. And it was felt all over the entire island. And I usually don't have people on here from Japan. Liberated, there were Yellowstone, or Liberated, there were earthquakes at Yellowstone, but you know what? Liberated, I think what we saw at Yellowstone could have been influenced by the 7.5 earthquake over in Japan. I've seen that happen before. Hoppy Sin, Hoppy Sin, I haven't seen you for a while, Hoppy Sin. How you doing? Happy New Year, Sharona. JP Bass Sr., what's going on? Texas Mama Bear liberated 2.6. Oh, there was a 2.6 in Yellowstone. Okay, well then that was a local quake. Um, Sometimes those seismographs, well, a lot of the time those seismographs at Yellowstone will pick up large earthquakes around the world. They're very sensitive instruments. 3.3 at Yellowstone, intraverse. 8:15 in Australia, Sammy Booth. So it's already January 2nd in Australia. All right. Happy New Year, Mr. Wobble. Earthling, that earthquake way to LA and Yellowstone. Terry Washington, Blue Star member. But here was thank you, Terry. Really appreciate that. 7.5, very shallow 7.5. That's why there were tsunami warnings issued. In fact, I think that's what came across my phone. Yeah, whenever the app that I use, it's an earthquake app, and I'm sure all of you smart people in here have earthquake apps and weather apps and all that stuff. That little blue wave represents a potentially very large wave that represents tsunami warning, and you can see all the aftershocks that occurred within minutes of the 7.5. It started out as a 7.6, then it was downgraded just slightly to a 7.5. 12:18, 8 minutes later, a 6.2, also very shallow at 6.2 miles deep. 12:39, about 21 minutes later, a 5.2, and then 9 minutes later, a 4.9. And then ever since then, there's been several aftershocks, as you can see over here at the USGS map. But again, eerily close to a nuclear power plant. Here's the nuclear power plant. Let me take you back to the earthquake map real quick. Right here. Okay. Epicenter of the earthquake. Right here, obviously. Nuclear power plant. Right down here. Check this out on Google Earth. Here's the Shika Nuclear Power Station, right? 25 miles from the epicenter of the earthquake. Look at that. Epicenter here up in Wajima. We're going to measure from Wajima to Shika. There you go. 24.6 miles from the nuclear power plant. Ay, ay, ay. That is just a little bit too close for comfort. Reminiscent of Fukushima. Remember the very large earthquake off the coast of Japan back in 2011? And right there's Fukushima and the epicenter, but it was a much stronger quake. I mean, that thing was in the eight range. We don't want to see any more of those. But yeah, very close to a nuclear power facility, this earthquake was. Felt on seismographs again. Detected, not necessarily felt. It was detected on seismographs all around the world. And there were earthquakes, as was mentioned over here in the chat room, a 2.6 at Yellowstone, and I think maybe a 3.3. In fact, let me look. I think there was a 3.3. You are correct. I saw that earlier this morning as I was looking through the earthquakes. Hang on, bear with me. I wanted to verify the Yellowstone quake. West Yellowstone. Yeah, absolutely. You are 100% right. A 3.3 West Yellowstone, 7:41 a.m. I know you probably can't see that. That's a very small window. But yes, there was a 3.3 and I think a 2.6 at Yellowstone. However, a lot of this activity we see over here, and you're looking at the seismographs at the Yellowstone supervolcano caldera. We look at these every day. Talk about it at least briefly every day. We always touch on the supervolcano because this is a pulse. This is an indicator of potentially bigger things to come. So if Yellowstone starts getting active over here, then we can expect activity probably elsewhere, right? So that's why we always watch Yellowstone very, very closely. The northwestern quadrant of the supervolcano is habitually the busiest. There's always earthquake activity, and the dark blue represents magma intrusion. There's always movement and activity up here. Um, that could have been the 3.3, but I think that was the 7.5, the larger red vertical line you see on there. And all of those red vertical lines represent earthquake activity of some degree. Nothing major, which is good. But a lot of red on the map today. We don't normally see that, but it's no coincidence that it coincides with the very large 7.5 and a 6.2 and multiple aftershocks over here in Japan. Big quake and a lot of damage. And in fact, the reports are still coming in. You can see a roof in a plaza here that's partially collapsed, looking at some of the damage. From what I understand, there were thousands of people displaced and are currently still displaced at this very time from the large earthquake. You can see a building that was partially collapsed here from the the massive shallow earthquake. Just not a good start to 2024, guys. And I'm going to talk about what could have potentially caused this large earthquake, and more than likely, it did influence the earthquake. I'm not saying it directly caused the earthquake, but it was certainly not a coincidence that we had a here you can see some books on the floor at a library, some damage here at a park. It was like some statues, some pillars have fallen over. This says this is a fire that occurred following the earthquake, maybe a earthquake, maybe not the 7.5. And they were urging people to evacuate, to run, get out of the area, because at the time this thing occurred, it was so strong and so shallow that it very well could have created a significant tsunami. But thankfully, it did not. There were people at a supermarket, right, as you can see right here, that kind of, hunkered down and were seeking what shelter they could in the middle of a grocery store. Yeah, it was quite an ordeal. But anyway, that's what's going on. This is what I know. You guys may know more. Pamela G, Bill, and Gerald. Here you can see a plaza here. This almost looks like a campus of some sort. I don't know where this is at, but you can see the ground is just absolutely cracked in many places. Heavy damage right there. And I wanted to show you guys a video that shows the actual earthquake as it began, and the source here is the USGS. Here we go. You see the camera shaking. We've seen this before during big earthquakes. Luckily, that water didn't come inland. Luckily, there was no large tsunamis. I think there was one around 4 feet tall. The powerful quake was followed by a series of aftershocks that are still underway right now as I do this video. And right there, you can see quite a bit of damage. You can see some houses, the roofs completely collapsed. We just don't like to see that. Unfortunately, it's part of how the earth works. The earth is always in a constant state of motion. And sometimes that motion is on the outermost surface of the planet. You can look at the waves here in this canal, feeling the energy from the 7.5 and multiple aftershocks. And thankfully, the power plant was in good shape. Look at the dust coming up from the ground there. I wonder if that's where the fracture was at. I don't know, but video footage from the epicenter of the very large earthquake over in Japan. People ordered to evacuate. And again, it started out as a 7.6, downgraded to a 7.5. But here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. And I know most of you in this chat room are probably well aware of this. Maybe you're not. But it's no coincidence. It is not a coincidence at all that we saw an it depends on where you go, an X4, an X5 solar flare yesterday. And right there it is on the Solar Dynamics Observatory. That's one of the satellite images as the X flare occurred. And that active region is turning towards the Earth literally right now. And that energy was felt here at the Earth. Right behind this energy, there was a shock wave that went through the solar system. The earthquake occurred. So that was no coincidence. This is a topic of great debate. There's no conclusive evidence that says, okay, large solar flares definitely 100% create large earthquakes. But I've seen over the years too many coincidences. There have been large solar flares, and then a few hours later, maybe a day later, a large earthquake somewhere on Earth, typically above the equator. And that's what we saw here. So here's the thing. Is this a sign of bigger things to come? It very well could be, because we are entering solar maximum. We're in solar maximum. In fact, I updated the website like I said I would yesterday. That's X flare number 20 in solar cycle number 25. And there's going to be more. So does that mean there's going to be more earthquakes? In my humble opinion, yes. But again, that's a topic of discussion. Over here at Live Science, they even talk about it. It's been talked about. Can solar storms cause tsunamis? Is what they're talking about here, and how Earth-directed solar storms, can they cause tsunamis on Earth? Well, there's solar tsunamis, right? In fact, let me show you one. That X flare yesterday that we just saw right here created a shock wave that went across the surface of the sun away from the active region and sunspot. Check this out. It's actually kind of cool. Don't see this very often, but here we go. A solar tsunami. Following the solar tsunami, we had a small tsunami on the Earth. Watch over here on the right, left-hand side. East side of the sun, you're going to see a shock wave cascade away from the X flare region. Watch. I know it's hard to see because it's all blending, but you can see a wave of energy right there. Watch right in here. See that? Right there. Right there. That's called a solar tsunami. That's following the X5, X4 big solar flare yesterday. After the solar flare, we saw a tsunami and a large earthquake down here on the Earth. No coincidence. I've seen it happen over and over and over for many, many years. There is a connection between strong solar activity and earthquakes on Earth. Exactly what and how, again, that remains a topic of discussion, but it's no coincidence that that did occur. So moving forward into solar cycle 25, as it gets stronger and stronger, and that active region and sunspot that we just looked at, I want to show you guys again what it's looking like today, because it's getting more visible as it's turning more Earth directed. This is going to be a big one. And this isn't even all of it. There's still more to come. There's more back here. This is a very large active region, and there's more back here that, like I said, hasn't turned around the Earth facing side of the sun yet. But this is where the X4 came from, and two M-class solar flares. So this thing's just getting warmed up, and it's closer to the equator than a lot of the sunspots are. Most of the sunspots are a little higher, not necessarily super high. Well, they're not near the poles, but this one here is close to the equator. So any more solar activity moving forward that comes from that active region will come directly towards our planet because it's at the equator. It's at the equator of the Earth. Sometimes when the sunspots are higher up in the upper latitudes of the Earth-facing side of the sun, the energy will go up and go past the Earth. This is more towards the equator, so the energy is going to come off like this and come directly at Earth. So will we see more earthquakes? Probably so. Probably so. I've seen it too many times over the years, guys. It is not a coincidence that earthquake followed a massive 7 point, or that solar flare occurred, and then just a few hours later, there was a strong earthquake on Earth. No coincidence, not a chance. There was an outbreak of earthquakes down here in the South Pacific about a month or so ago. If you look up, and I haven't looked it up today, I remember it happening, and I just took a mental note of it. In fact, I wrote it down on one of my note cards. The last 7 very large earthquake that we had, there was a strong solar flare before the outbreak of earthquakes, and there was a large swarm down in the southern Pacific. And prior to the swarm and prior to the earthquake, strong solar activity. I think it was the last X-class solar flare, but I'd have to look and see just to get confirmation. But again, just know that was no coincidence. The sun controls everything. We're in the middle of a seasonal change right now. It's winter in the northern hemisphere, summer in the southern hemisphere. It's the sun angle. Everything's about the sun angle. And the angle that I just showed you up here with regard to this active region and sunspot is more square with the Earth. It's not facing up. So any more activity that comes from that region will be right at our planet. Let's look at the current X-ray flux. These are the most recent solar flares. You can see two more. These were M-class solar flares, and they were strong themselves, creating shock waves that were detected down here on the Earth. In fact, here's the ionosphere detecting the X-class solar flare, creating a temporary radio blackout on the daylight side of the Earth. Yes, this can happen. And this one, compared to some of the ones in the past, was actually not real strong. There have been X17s, there have been X25s, there have been X45s. So this one here being an X, depends on where you go, X4, X5, um, it created a radio blackout, but there could be a lot stronger. Over here at spaceweather.com, they're talking about it being an X4, and it was in between an X4 and an X5, okay? Geomagnetic storm watch. Check this out. Improved models of yesterday's, he's calling it an X5 here. X5 class CME suggests the storm cloud will merely graze the Earth on January 2nd, tomorrow. So that means this thing is moving at several million miles per hour. Probably somewhere in the neighborhood of, I'm just guessing, 3.5 million miles per hour. But the thing of it was, like we mentioned yesterday, since the sunspot was not directly facing the Earth, we would probably get an indirect glancing blow from that very large X-class solar flare. And that's what they're suggesting here at spaceweather.com, that we're probably going to see a glancing blow from the powerful explosion that could create a G2 geomagnetic storm tomorrow. So if you're in the upper latitudes of the Earth, tomorrow evening, you may be in for a light show. You may be in for a light show. And if you can, get some pictures of these lights and share them with me, and I'll share them with everybody. Spacey, T. Luke, Thomas, what's up? Zach, SDL, what's going on? T. Kerr, thanks for the photo. I got a photo of yours, T. Kerr. Running Wolf, the Sun, Connie Thomas. Oh, let's see what Connie's talking about. Natural disasters in 2024. Connie Thomas 2024 will be full of natural disasters, earthquakes, volcanoes. Very well could be. And that's another thing, volcanoes. It's my humble opinion and my belief that the sun instigates volcanic activity. Yes, we're entering solar cycle 25. You just saw the Iceland volcano do its thing a few days ago. Check this out. We're seeing more and more activity on the big island of Hawaii. And what I mean by activity is earthquake activity. That's why we watch Yellowstone so close. Because if we start to see an increase in earthquake activity over here, then you know that this thing is starting to wake up. All right. Now, out here on the big island of Hawaii, there's a increase. In fact, we'll go there. I'll show you. There's been an increase in earthquake activity on the big island of Hawaii, especially in the Kilauea area right in here. So we saw Mauna Loa actually erupt. I think it was last year in 2022. That'd be 2 years ago. We're in 2024. But we're seeing an increase in earthquake activity here by Mount Kilauea. So wouldn't surprise me at all during solar cycle 25 as solar activity increases, not only Kilauea and the Iceland volcano, but other volcanoes around the world are sensitive to strong solar activity. So we could see volcanic eruptions, just like you suggested. We could see more earthquake activity. I use the word could because there's no guarantee. Does solar activity influence earthquakes? I believe so, 1,000%. Does it influence volcanic activity? I believe so, 1,000%. But I'm probably the minority. It's just that I've watched this type of activity. Guys, I really am. Hey, thank you, First Light. If there is a definition of a first thing, saw you on the History Channel this afternoon. Really? Well done. Thank you. That's very kind. Thank you. I didn't know I was on the History Channel today. They play that at any given time, and I don't know when they play it. But yes, I was on the History Channel back in, good grief, it's already 2024. It's hard to say 2024. Yes, I was on the History Channel many years ago. I just did actually, I did some work. They wanted me to do some image analyst work. They sent me some files to work on. I worked on the files extensively here. They sent me some images and a video to work on. They wanted to use in their show on the History Channel. So I worked them over, as you guys know I do. I got some to share with you. I don't know if I got some today, but anyway, yeah, I did some work for them and was actually on the show, but I didn't know it was on today. Carrie, what's up? Yeah, that was a while ago, wasn't it, Carrie? Sheila. Thank you, Sheila. Um, yeah, it was a while ago. It was in 20, I was in two episodes, 2019 and 2020. So it was just a unique experience. That's all. But where are we at? Volcanic activity, earthquake activity. Will we see an increase? Yes, I believe so, 100%. Can solar activity cause tsunamis? No, no. Solar activity cannot cause tsunamis on Earth. There are such things as solar tsunamis on the surface of the sun. Absolutely. I've seen it before. We just had one here within the last 24 hours. But can a solar flare, CME, cause a tsunami on Earth? Not directly, but indirectly, like we almost saw today. In fact, there was a tsunami in Japan. The tsunami was nearly 4 feet tall. It was instigated by the X flare that caused the earthquake or influenced the earthquake that generated the tsunami. So it's my belief and my understanding from what I've observed over the years that there is definitely a connection between earthquake activity and solar activity. So considering that we're entering solar maximum, we are in solar maximum, we won't peak until 2025. And now that we're in 2024, we're getting closer to that peak. So will we see larger earthquakes between now and then? And then once we get to the peak, we got to come down the other side. So I would say yes, we're going to see an increase in solar activity or earthquake activity. Absolutely, and in fact, they're talking about the sun over here. December 31st, 2023, the sun emitted a strong solar flare peaking at 4:55 p.m. Eastern Time on December 31st. It was already 2024 over in Japan, following which they don't mention here, but following the large eruption, there was also a large earthquake. And while I'm thinking about it, guys, before I forget, because I get email, I got two things I want to share with you guys. Off topic, but while you're here, check it out. I get people pretty much now on a daily basis saying, "Hey man, I was unsubscribed from your channel. Why did you unsubscribe me?" Guys, I don't have any control over that, and I would never unsubscribe you, and I'm sorry that happened. Thank you, Dance King. The Icelandic Met Office has issued new warnings for another possible eruption. I believe you, Dance King. Thank you. Probably because of the solar activity. But if you're a subscriber, double check, make sure that you're still subscribed, because I get people quite frequently saying that, "Hey, I was unsubscribed from your channel, don't know why," and I don't know why either. All you got to do is just double check. Simple fix, just go double check, make sure you're still subscribed. And if you want notified when I upload new videos, click on the bell. We're going to be doing a live stream in April of this year. We're in 2024. Just a few months, we're going to be going to the path of totality of the upcoming solar eclipse. And we're going to be doing a live stream. So if you want notified when we do the live stream from the path of totality in 97 days, we're under 100, 97 days and counting to the solar eclipse, that will be joined by an ancient time traveler known as 12P Pons Brooks. We got a comet coming into the equation that's going to be in the vicinity of the sun during the solar eclipse. You cannot make this stuff up. History Channel, I'm surprised you haven't done a movie about this already. This is incredible. Wow. So anyway, yeah, make sure you click that bell next to the subscribe, and I'm going to do a live stream from the path of totality wherever there's the least amount of cloud cover. And that's in this line right here, this yellow line you see going across North America, starting out down here in southwestern Mexico, spanning all the way up to Newfoundland, and several thousand miles in between. You guys are going to have a front row seat to one of the coolest eclipses ever. Going to be joined by what's going to look like a daytime star with possible wings. Some describe them as horns, an erupting comet. an ice volcanic comet is going to be in the sky during the eclipse. I mean, that's not, you can't make this stuff up. Wow. So anyway, yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up with regard to that. And we'll come back and touch on that again later. Number two, and equally as important, I don't know why this happens. And I apologize for this too, but again, this is something that is beyond my control. What I do though is I remove this stuff. With my moderator does a really good job at doing this. If you ever see this in the chat room, and I haven't seen it in a while, my moderator stays on top of this. She does a really, really good job. Check this out. For some reason, people will make up something that looks, that's obviously me, but that is not me doing this. I don't even have a WhatsApp. So this is just a heads up. Thank you, Hop and Sin. Wouldn't the X flare take 3 days to get here? No, not necessarily. The Carrington event was here in less than 17 hours. So a typical solar flare CME, yeah, about 3 days, 2 days, 3 days. But a high-end event like the Carrington event went from the sun to the earth in less than 16, I think it was less than 16 hours. It was moving at almost 7 million miles per hour. It was just off the charts. So could something like that happen again? Probably so, because we don't even know the sun's full capability. We don't know what it's entirely capable of doing. We're still learning. But anyway, if you guys happen to see anything like this in this chat room over here, and thank you, Hop and Sin, appreciate that, that has WhatsApp, that is not me. So let me know, like this person here did, let me know if you see something like that, and we'll take care of it, okay? But that is not me. I will never ask you anything like this clown here is asking. So that's not me. I don't have WhatsApp. I've never had a WhatsApp, and I don't want a WhatsApp. So if you see something like that, just know that it's not me, and I apologize for that stuff actually getting in there. But you know, it's impossible when people create it, and then next thing you know, it's in there. My moderator does a good job at keeping all of that stuff out, and I really do appreciate it. But again, that's not me. Okay, guys, I've got some really cool. Check this out. Switch gears a little bit. This video was sent in by a Star family member, Ad B, and this is of the night sky during the overnight hours. Actually, yeah, last night, January 1st. This is what the sky looked like in their location. Check this out. Look at all the activity in the sky. Just filming the night sky as the sun was getting ready to come up. Check this out. And some of the stuff you'll see look like little meteors. And some of the stuff you see in this video, I don't know how to explain. I think the majority of it are probably airplanes, and some of them may not be airplanes. I don't know exactly what we've got going on here, but cool video. Got a lot of good stars, and Ad B has an excellent view of the night sky. Look at all those stars. Nice view of the night sky, but it was very active last night during the overnight hours in a lot of ways. I heard fireworks. I think I went to sleep to fireworks going off in our neighborhood. Look at that one right there. That one was moving super fast, and I think that was an airplane though, right? Check it out. Maybe not. That might have been a meteor, but it wasn't very bright at the front. I don't know. That was fast. Whatever that was. That might have been a meteor. Then the sun came up and the nighttime sky went away. But you have a nice sky there, Ad B. Thanks for sharing. T. Sherwood, Lisa Butler, Nancy D. Nancy D, that could have been bugs. They could have been birds. It depends on the type of camera and how the camera processes movement in the nighttime sky. Every camera processes movement, especially in video format, differently. Some create these real long, what look like tails, and it's not a tail at all. It's just how the camera, it's the bit rate. You guys hear of the bit rate of a recording device, especially an outdoor recording device. If the bit rate is set at a real low setting, then anything that moves through the field of view will have what looks like a tail. It's not a tail, but it will record it as a tail. It's called the bit rate. If you have it at a high bit rate, and the reason for that, the low bit rate uses less storage. High bit rate uses a lot of storage, but you get a better sense of what's really going on. You get a better quality video. Low bit rates save storage, but you don't get as good of a video as you would with a high bit rate. What's going on over here, Brian? Yeah, especially outdoors, you're right. Sun creates us. Boy, you said something there. The sun created a lot of things. Here's what the sun looked like yesterday. Video sent in by our friend Nilson Jenks out of Greensboro, North Carolina. Soho Lasco C2, solar flare right there off the 8 o'clock position of the sun. That was a high speed solar flare CME. Right there it was again. That one's moving very, very fast. That's why its energy or the plasma from that CME will be here tomorrow. That thing was moving so incredibly fast. There's a look at it from the wide angle, and you can see right there at around the 8 o'clock position that huge solar flare that sent plasma actually through pretty much the entire half of the solar. Almost looked like a full 6300 or a full 363 halo, but it wasn't. There were two separate events right there, but nevertheless, that was one big, powerful solar flare. And we could see some activity. So you guys in the upper latitudes of planet Earth, make sure you check out tomorrow night's night skies, because you guys could see northern lights tomorrow night, right? Okay, I got other things I want to share with you guys. Oh, here's something else. Since we're on the subject, I get these often too, and this is just for educational purposes only, guys. That's all. Okay, this is a picture that was sent in. I'm not going to say by who, because I'm just using this for educational purposes. They took the photo. After looking at the photo, they said they didn't see this in the sky when they took the photo. And they took the photo from inside of a car. And that's why I emphasize when I give photos sent in that are especially taken, well, at nighttime too, but especially daytime. Anytime you take a photo of the sky from inside your car, you're not only going to get a reflection off of your lens on your recording device, but you're going to get a reflection off the windshield of the car or the side window of the car. Classic example right here, and I'm using this for educational purposes. If you see something in the sky and you're in your car and you want to film it and you have the opportunity to pull over and get out of your car and get away from that glass, I highly encourage you to do so safely. But they took this as they were getting ready to, looks like, make a turn, and they took this photo of something in the sky. Well, this was not in the sky. This is a reflection of, it looks like they were filming the moon right there. That's probably what they took a photo of, the moon. This, doesn't that look like something up in the sky, right? That could be misinterpreted as, oh, wow, we've got like a flying disc in the sky. No, that is not a flying disc in the sky. I can assure you 100%. That is a reflection off the inside of the windshield of either something on somebody's purse, could be anything inside the front of the car. I've seen purse handles that had like rhinestones on them that were reflecting off of the inside of the glass that looked like they were in the sky in the photo. That's something inside the car. See right there? That looks like a cup holder. Look right there in the center. That's probably got something to do with the gear shift. See, that looks like a cup holder right there. You can see what looks like a gear shift over there. That's the inside of the car reflecting off of the inside of the windshield that shows up in your photo. So anytime you take a photo of the sky from inside your car, especially at night, because all the dash lights and stuff like that that light is bouncing all over the place and it's going to end up in your photo. This here was not in the sky. They said they didn't see it in the sky after they took the photo. No, they didn't, because it was not in the sky. That's a classic example that I wanted to share with you guys. If you're taking photos of something in the sky, and I know you don't always have the opportunity to pull over and get out and take a picture or whatever. You got to do this stuff on the fly. I know, I've done it. But the image is going to be contaminated with light. And that's a classic example right there of light contamination, because the light's bouncing all over the car, all over the inside. And that is something to do with the console something somebody had sitting on the console. You can see what looks like a cup holder. So no, that is not anything at all in the sky, even though it looks like it could be, right? Yeah, it could be misinterpreted as some sort of exotic flying machine. It is not an exotic flying machine. That is a reflection from something inside the car. Simple as that. And that happens quite often. So just know if you're taking a picture from inside your car, chances are um, it's probably going to have some sort of light contamination. Back to the earthquake that was, I believe, influenced by the very powerful X-class solar flare. Look at the buoys over here at the National Data Buoy Center. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And I know down in Australia it's pronounced boy, but we pronounce it up here in North America as buoy. But down south, you guys pronounce it as boy. And I've been told that many times over the years, and I never have forgot that. But up here, we always call it buoy. But you can see either way, you have 4 buoys in event mode. That means those buoys detected the energy from the very powerful earthquake. Was there a tsunami in these areas? There very well could have been. There could have been a small one. Thankfully, there wasn't a big one. We've seen big ones on here over the years, but typically, no. And these will stay on for 24 hours. Anytime a buoy, all the yellow ones you see on here are active buoys. They're currently online, and they are just waiting for movement. I've watched these for years, have learned a lot from watching these buoys over the years, and I've learned that these buoys can also detect seafloor movement, not just water movement. They can detect seafloor movement. Absolutely, Charlene and Agape Love. Happy New Year, everybody. But the buoys are still in event mode. They will continue to be in event mode for, well, up until 24 hours, and then they'll stop unless there's another earthquake. Hopefully there won't be, but you can see how far and wide the powerful earthquake that would be from the primary wave all the way over to the Yellowstone supervolcano. The energy was detected over there, but it put these buoys in event mode. And on this map, there are no buoys where the earthquake occurred back in here. I'm sure that there are because Japan is known for earthquakes. Japan probably has buoys out there. They're just not on this. This is a NOAA operated website, and these buoys are managed by NOAA. But I would say Japan, being some of the smartest people on earth, I'm sure there's buoys everywhere over here, especially with all the earthquakes. Look at South Korea. Look at all the buoys they have. And these are managed by NOAA. Look at that. Buoys all around. And there's hardly ever earthquakes in South Korea. Japan is definitely earthquake active. So will we see more earthquakes moving forward? More than likely we will, guys. Yes, if the solar activity continues to increase, and it will. Solar activity is going to increase because we are right in the middle of the solar cycle 25. Some other things I want to share with you guys. I want to give big shout outs to the newest Blue Star members. Welcome to the Star family, guys. Here we go. Brandy Maxwell, Cynthia Souter, and Lockpick World, the newest Blue Star members. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate that. If you guys would be interested in becoming a Star family member, you can do so at the link down below in the description box. Thank you once again, guys. Really do appreciate that. I have some things I want to share with you guys that aren't earthquake related. Here we go. I've got some stuff that was sent in today. Okay, I touched on the WhatsApp thing. Remember, if you see anything on WhatsApp that looks like me, it's not me. I don't have a WhatsApp, okay? So just ignore that. Let me know, and I'll make sure that it doesn't at least happen again. I'll do my best to keep it out of the chat room, and I apologize for that. I don't know who does that, and they need to stop. It's not cool. That's not me. I wouldn't do that. Check this out, guys. We're going to Alabama, right? Just got this video less than 48 hours ago. Let me know what you think. There's something going on here that they noticed in the daytime sky that has a very unique shape. Video was sent in by Grant out of Pinson, Alabama. It goes all the way back to July, but it's still good. That doesn't mean a thing. He saw something up in the sky. right there. See how high up that is? I paused it right here and put this arrow just to kind of put it into perspective. That's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 to 10,000 feet in the sky. So I would think that's probably out of most drone ranges. I don't think a drone would go up there. Maybe so. Maybe so. I don't know everything about drones that there is to know. But check this out. It looks like I don't know, almost looks like a human standing up there in some sort of one of those flight suits. Check that out. That was in the sky above Alabama back in July. Isn't that wild? So again, being at about, and he's zooming in right here. So being at about 10,000 feet, that thing must have been pretty good size for him to even be able to see it. It couldn't have been some little bitty drone. That's pretty good size. I would say probably 6 feet, 5 foot, 6 foot range. I mean, it's not super small. Let's put it that way, because he would have never saw it. But this was above Alabama. Here I modified part of the original video, trying to pull forward any possible features, and stayed pretty much the same. We got a little bit different color of the sky, but as far as the object itself goes, that didn't really change too much. Here it is in a completely inverted format. Again, almost looks like somebody standing up in the sky, coming down without a parachute, but moving very, very slowly. Again, at the beginning of this video, sent in by Grant, you don't even see this thing up in the sky. It was so high. It was way up in here. That's up in the at least 8, maybe 10,000 foot range. So for him to even see that moving was quite remarkable. So good video by Grant out of Pinson, Alabama, of something mysterious in the daytime sky. What do you guys think it is over there? Spam? Klingon bird of prey whiplash. What's up, Chelsea Surgeoner? New star family member. Chelsea, welcome aboard. Welcome. Digital Revolution Mothman. I know, right? It could have been a lot of things, I suppose. But one thing it was pretty good size. Today's feature photo over here at the homepage of the website. You guys notice the cool clouds in the sky sent in by Janice out of Bonneville, Alberta. I have a lot of friends up in Alberta, and she captured this in the daytime sky. It looked like waves up in the sky above Alberta. How about that? That is super cool. Great job. Thank you, Spacey. Thank you, T. Kerr. You're too kind. That's super kind. I love you guys, man. You guys inspire me to keep an eye on things, which I have done anyway for years. This is not necessarily something I just started doing. I've been doing this for, gosh, we're in 2024, pre-2010. How about that? Yeah, a long time ago. Long time ago. Okay, guys, here's something I don't normally do, but I'm gonna share it with you in this video because it was shared with me. We're gonna look at something, and I want to get your opinion. What do you think? Tell me what you think this is. It was sent to me to analyze. I did analyze it. I'm going to show you a video of what I found. I also found something else in this image that they didn't notice. Okay. I think this does have merit. There's something here that looks like it could have been done from intelligent origins of some sort. I don't know what we got going on here, but this is on the surface of Mars, and there are 3 what look like perfect circles over here. Now check this out. There's more. There's way more going on here in this image of the surface of the surface of Mars. I'm going to show you something up in here that's going on that they didn't see, but I happened to see it whenever I was modifying the video. And where? Oh, it's right here. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. Going to the surface of Mars. Don't normally do this, but I found this kind of cool, you know. I thought it was pretty compelling. It wasn't like, well, maybe not. Once you look at it, you're like, yes, something created circles, perfect circles on the surface of Mars. Here we go. So Martian surface, photo sent in by Stephen. And here we go. Right down here is what he noticed. I noticed another area that looked suspicious. You know what I mean? Right up here. Check it out. See the circle right there? You can see what looks like a part of a circle. But if you look at it close, you can see there is a large circle there. And then behind the circle, there are what look like, I don't know if these are some sort of above ground tunnels, some sort of shafts, but they're linear and they seem to be intelligently designed. They look like they're the same distance apart. They do not look random. Let's put it that way. Here we go. I'm going to show you guys this in multiple formats. Again, this is on the surface of Mars. Looks like something created perfect circles on the surface of Mars. I don't think that happened by accident. I don't think that was just some random act. Nothing else in the area looks like that. But check this out up here. I found this equally as compelling. Okay, now you can see a better view of whatever is going on up here. And then look at the lines coming out of the back. They almost look like surface tunnels, some sort of long lines coming out the back side of that circle, like maybe it's some sort of facility or was a facility. Maybe it currently is. I have no idea. And here's another view of the perfect circles, and they are nearly perfect. Look at that. And then going back up here, now you've got a better view of what's going on up here. See what I mean? See the circle, see the lines coming out the backside. They look like there's actually 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, maybe above ground tunnels or I don't know. It looks like some sort of above ground facility right there. And if you look real close, there's another round feature right over here. It's very difficult to see though, so I didn't even mention it. That there though, it's pretty easy to see. There's no mistaking that. There's some sort of a round surface feature with I don't know, surface tunnels on the backside of. There you go. There's a pretty good view. See, it's got a side, clear definition. It's round. Something going on right there as well. So I don't really go up to. I really can't honestly say I've ever been up to the surface of Mars looking around. I get photos every once in a while from people. This view right here, you can see the feature here. The lines coming out the back almost look like surface tunnels. That's just the way I interpret what we're looking at here. And then here's the circles once again that drew him, Stephen, to this area. And they indeed, they look highly symmetrical and they look like they were designed with some sort of purpose. Those aren't formed by accident, in my humble opinion. And again, you're looking at the surface of Mars. Something right there made some nice circles. You got one whole circle over here to the left. Is that an entryway into some sort of a facility that's not visible? Good question. That's the $1 million question, and I'll leave it up to y'all. I think there's something there. Absolutely, something formed those circles. Those were not just random acts of nature. Chelsea, makes you wonder. It sure does. Makes you wonder about a lot of things, right? Question everything is what they say. I had a smart man tell me many years ago to question everything. Hey, what's up, Jesse81? What's going on over there? No coincidences. You're right. And there was no coincidence that we saw a very large, and again, we're in the middle of solar cycle 25. We saw a very large X-class solar flare, and following the X-class solar flare was a very large earthquake here on Earth. So there is a connection between these two phenomena that we deal with. It's part of how the Earth works. It's part of how the sun works, and that is never going to change. Our understanding of how both of these work can change. We can understand how all this works much better. I've noticed over the years a connection and no coincidence, like Jesse81 just said. Hey, this wasn't a coincidence. No, I've seen it too many times in the past. Something else I've seen in the past, and I'll share it with you guys here real quick, is coronal holes and earthquake activity. Not necessarily straight up, high-end solar flares. Watch. There's nothing major. A coronal hole is this. I'm sure most of you know what a coronal hole is. This thing here, this dark area. Um, Sometimes when there are large ones, and there have been many large ones right in the middle of the surface of the sun, in a variety of shapes, and earthquakes on Earth occur when those coronal holes are facing the Earth. There is a connection. Is it perfect science? Does it happen every single time? No, but it has happened in the past. Yes, but it doesn't happen every time. But this was no coincidence, guys. This large X-class solar flare and the large earthquake on Earth, that was no coincidence, not by a long shot. That definitely influenced the situation down here on the Earth. For sure. I'm working on something you guys are going to enjoy. It's not going to be in today's video because I'm not quite done with it yet. But yeah, it is really, really super neat. You're going to enjoy it. And speaking of, I think I'll share this one because we had the possible facility on Mars. Let's go here to the Earth. And it kind of reminded me of what we just saw on Mars. We're going up to the 80-degree north latitude. This location was sent in by our friend Nelson Jenks. Check this out. Way up here, out in the middle of nowhere, you're looking at what look like intelligently designed features up here in the Arctic Circle. Like this too could have been some sort of facility. See how these things look like they have intelligently designed shape. They're linear, kind of like what we just saw on the surface of Mars, those linear lines behind a big giant circle, like maybe it was an above ground facility. Well, this kind of reminded me of maybe an above ground facility at one point in time. I don't know. They just look out of place. They don't look random. They look like perfect rectangles just sitting up here at the 80-degree north latitude all by themselves. Like maybe at one point in time, they served a purpose. And for all I know, maybe they still do. But those are at the 80-degree north latitude. Pretty wild stuff. Finding stuff all the time. Okay, that's the Arctic facility. I got one more to share with you guys. We're going to, here we go. You ready for this? Check this out. International Space Station. The space station was above the South Atlantic Ocean on Christmas Eve, December 24th. And the position right over here, you can see down in the South Atlantic Ocean, December 24th, on the dark side of the Earth. Video sent in by Lisa from Pea Ridge, Arkansas, who noticed this. Check this out. This is totally wild. Check it out. What's going on above the Earth? Check this out. Now remember, the space station's on the dark side of the Earth in the South Atlantic Ocean. She just happened to be watching the live stream, obviously on her TV, picked up her recording device and started recording. Look at that. What's going on here? I didn't do this video. It was sent to me. I'm sharing it with you, but I got to be honest, I have never seen a video from the space station that looked like this here. Now, look at that. That is wild. How do you describe that thing right there? It's like a big donut, and there's several. They all seem to be different sizes. They're all the same basic shape. Some are just bigger than others, and some are at a slightly different angle. And that tells me that it's not some sort of light anomaly, because they would be at the same exact angle as the light. These are at different angles. They're very random. Look, you got some over here that they're facing different directions. So that tells you that there's something physical there. If those were influenced by light, they would be in the same path as the light. It couldn't be altered. These are kind of their own little thing, occupying their own space. How do you describe that? Pretty wild, right? Lisa P. Ridge, December 24th of 2023. We're now in 2024. Happy New Year, guys. Very strange donut shaped. Yep, couldn't agree with you more. green donuts coming out of the ocean. And that's what's weird about it. It's on the dark side of the earth. So this isn't some sort of trick of light. Light can put on some really cool tricks. I've seen it. It's like the windshield thing that I share with you guys. Um, it can happen, but I don't think that's the case here. There's no light from anywhere. This is down here, right here. Look, this is where it's at. In that mysterious place where every once in a while, Mary Hall sent in video footage from this location, Nelson Jenks has sent in video footage from this location, and I believe Renee from this location, and Tracy right down here off the coast of South America, between South America and Africa, deep in the Atlantic Ocean. I've seen multiple videos of what look like fleets of some sort of lights down here in this area multiple times. Now, in this same area, we're seeing what look like green inner tubes in the sky. I'm assuming in the sky. I mean, again, you can't make this stuff up. That's not in the ocean. I don't know if there was some sort of aurora occurring at the time, causing the green light red to show up in the field of view. We've seen that many times. We just saw a video Nelson sent in from northern lights in the northern latitudes on Christmas Eve. So there very well could have been uh, aurora down here in the southern hemisphere. But what are these things? First for me, Carrie, cherubim. Is it the Mystrions? Floyd, I don't know. What's up, Chris Jenkins? South Atlantic anomaly. Yes, sir. Jesse81. It's so frustrating not knowing. I'm telling you, I think truth is stranger than fiction. I really do. We live in a very mysterious world. We don't know even what's going on at the bottom of our oceans. I mean, we have a pretty good idea of what 90% or what's the saying? We know 5% of what's at the bottom of the ocean. We still have a lot to learn what goes on at the ocean because it's constantly evolving, you know, and it's very vast. Oceans are predominantly cover most of the planet. So jellyfish underwater. I never considered that, but I think we would see them all the time if that were the case. Swamp gas, Dustin H. Stargates, thank you. Reflections of light. Danny Skylark, I thought that too, but or at least I considered that. But what light? There's no sunlight. The space station's on the dark side of the Earth. That's why I emphasized at the beginning of the video the position of the space station's on the dark side of the Earth. So I don't think that well, I know it wasn't the sun. It couldn't have been influenced by the sun because it was way over here in the dark side of the planet. And I think there were auroras going on at the time. There are southern lights and there are northern lights. We just don't see a lot of the southern light activity because there's not a lot of people, not a lot of cameras down here in this part of the world. In fact, there's nobody out here that I know of in that location right there, deep in the South Atlantic between South America and Africa. It's very vast, and there's not a lot of people out there. So it would be a great place to hang out if you were whatever these things are, because nobody's going to see you except the International Space Station, maybe once every 90 minutes. And then it could be dismissed as a light anomaly, a trick of light, and nobody's going to believe it. I get it. But that'd be a great place to hang out if you wanted to, right down there, because nobody is out there. So what we've got going on here is a mystery, Chelsea. There's my moderator. Thanks for stopping by, moderator. Appreciate that. Apple Green Shepherd. What's up, Shepherd? Thank you all. Apple Green Lifesavers, Valerian, the Mac. Yeah, they do look like life rafts. I totally agree. Those are clearly not objects. Brody, how do you define clearly? They're going in different directions. This one's got a different angle. That one's got a different angle. That one's got a different angle. That one's got a different angle. If that were influenced by light, they'd all be on the same angle. Watcher 7872, thank you. You are welcome. So those have to be some sort of anomaly in the sky. Whether they're anything nefarious or not, I don't think so. But that's telling us, just based off of their unique position, there's something up there, or there was something up there at that moment in time as the space station was flying over the deep, dark South Atlantic, and it was on the dark side of the Earth. Skywatcher Missouri 417. What's going on, guys? Did everybody have a good New Year? Did everybody be good last night? All right, waiting for someone to say position of the South Atlantic anomaly. That was already mentioned, Heaven's Peace, the South Atlantic anomaly. It was mentioned, and maybe it does have something to do with that. I am not 100% sure, but based off of their unique positions, if they were all in the same exact position, then yeah, you can say, okay, like lens rays. Whenever you see lens rays, they're usually in the line of the light ray. These things are random all over the place. Plus, it's dark. What's going on here? Happy New Year, Paola, Curtis Bartle. Yes, organic, been around a long time. The new beginning is for Earth, not us, tiny man. Let the three kings walk the land. DDP. Mojo's Mama B. Definitely, they are something. They could be bubbles in the water. FE Nation. Legendary. Have you had a chance to look at the anomaly at the North Pole? That's on Null School. I'm going to look at it right after this video here. In fact, that's going to be my next video. Yeah, because the polar vortex is changing. So you know what that means? So that's kind of a preview of my next video. It's going to be part of my next video. Let's put it that way. The polar vortex is changing. There is something going on at the Arctic Circle. The polar vortex is being influenced. There's an anomaly. It can be viewed as an anomaly. It shows up in different wavelengths of Null School. Null School is a great tool. I've used Null School for a long time. And Null School is showing us something. You can learn a lot from Null School. You can learn a vast amount of things from Null School. Over here, there's another low pressure system developing in the North Pacific. Not to change gears real quick, I just wanted to mention it before I forget. California, you could see big waves again. Today is Monday, possibly by Thursday or Friday, depending on exactly where this goes. This big low pressure out here again, the big scorpion in the sky. Could be pushing waves in again. I think by the end of the week, maybe we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, big waves are more than likely coming back to the west coast of California. All right. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Those were super weird. I just wanted to share those with you guys since I had them up in this file over here. And again, I'm working on email. I'm working on the Dropbox, which is right over here. I got a lot of cool things to share with you guys. And a lot of them I don't have done yet. I've got fireballs. I got cool pictures that were just sent in today. My friend Ken Garton out of Trenton, Florida. He's always catching action in the nighttime sky. So a couple of fireball videos. One that's a little bit mysterious. Still working on that. But I am working on something that is truly a classic. It may be the next video, maybe the following video, but it is quite fascinating. I've been working on it now for the last 3 days. I work on it off and on. I work on a lot of things, but this one here, I only get one chance to show it. And I take a lot of pride in what I show you guys. I want it to be its very best. So what I'm going to show you, like the work I did for the History Channel that was mentioned earlier, I worked on that day and night for a week straight 2 weeks straight before I gave it to him. I wanted it to be just right. So I'm the same way with this work that I do here every single day. I'm working on something right now that is very mysterious, that was seen by two people 3 days apart, one in Alaska, one in Alabama. It is really, really bizarre. I'm not gonna say anymore. But it's really, really cool. So you'll know when you see it. Probably put it on the banner of the thumbnail of the video. So yeah, really cool stuff coming up, guys. No doubt about it. Okay, where are we at here? Okay, I've gone over everything that I want to go over. Big list, Shockwave, WhatsApp. Yeah, I wanted to make sure I mentioned that WhatsApp. And again, I don't have a WhatsApp, guys. So I apologize when that stuff gets in that chat. That's not me. So just know I don't even have a WhatsApp, and I would never do that anyway. So that is not me. And once again, before I forget, because I always forget to mention this, I get people that ask me frequently, why was I unsubscribed from your channel? Easy fix. Just double check and make sure you're still subscribed. Maybe check every once in a while because this is a thing. I guess it's always been a thing. It's not necessarily anything that I have any control over. However, we can just simply double check, make sure you're still subscribed if you're a current subscriber. If you're a new viewer and you would like to subscribe and see more videos, click that bell. Click the subscribe button like you see here. Click the bell, and you'll be notified whenever I upload new videos in the future. And every once in a while, you might double check and make sure that you're still subscribed to the YouTube channel because for whatever reasons, that happens from time to time. And I don't know why. I really don't, guys. It's like I said, something that I have no control over. The only thing that we can do is just keep trying and double check and make sure you're still subscribed. And I had two people say that after they watched the video, they went and checked to see if they were still subscribed. They were subscribers, in fact, long-time subscribers, and they said, sure enough, they were unsubscribed. Got to respect all the time and effort. Thank you, God. That's very kind. Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you, Zuvea. I do try. I really do. I try. Bear Post. Thank you. That's very kind. Um, you know, when you love what you do, it's not hard. It's time consuming. I do enjoy it. And I've watched the Earth, guys. I developed a fascination for understanding how all this works back in late 2007, and I've been at it ever since. Um, and I've got a lot to learn, but I've learned a lot since 2007. So I've been doing this for a long time. Um, and I've seen a lot of things that aren't coincidences, and this is one of them. The large solar flare influenced the large earthquake. So will we see more? Is it a sign of bigger things to come? Probably so. Yes, indeed. So just a big heads up, guys. When we see these large solar flares, just know that there probably will be an earthquake somewhere on planet Earth. Now, you would be really good if you could say where. And at this point in our existence, nobody can do that. Nobody can say where. You might be able to foretell, okay, yeah, there's probably a good chance an earthquake's going to occur. But if you don't know where, what good's the information, you know? I used to be able to do that based off of planetary position, but I never could say where, you know? So it's like, until I can say where, which I haven't been able to figure that out yet, um, all we can do is say, you know what? There was a large X flare. There could be a large earthquake somewhere on Earth. So just be prepared. That's all. That's all we can do is be prepared. It's always best to be prepared and not need it than not be prepared and need it. Thank you, Lisa Butler. Appreciate that. Reported the XRP spam guy. Oh, thank you. Yeah, just let me know, man. I would never do that. In fact, I'll type a chat now so you guys can see this me. Hey guys. Now that's me, but any other thing that doesn't look like that, I don't have a WhatsApp. I don't do that, guys. I would never ask you for that type of information. So please don't be calling anybody. I would never ask you to call anybody ever. So if you see something like that coming from, that's not me. I would never ever do that. So please don't be calling people. It's not me. Blessings from Upper East Tennessee. Thank you, Barry. Lisa Butler, I'm a phenomenal teacher. I try to be. I try to be. I've had some phenomenal teachers, some very wise men and women, some of the wisest people I've ever met. And you know, when you get around people that are really wise like that, it's a good idea to just listen. and just absorb all that wisdom from those people. And it may take you a long time to process, but their wisdom is not something that you can convert into instant knowledge. It still takes time. Takes time. So I respect my elders. I always will, and I always have. Polenta R. Forrest, thanks for stopping by. Polenta, Happy New Year. Have a wonderful day. Polenta over in Sacramento. We worth saving or we wouldn't be here, Skywatcher, Missouri. You said a lot there. Is 333 symbolic? SEBRC? Yeah, it is. It's very symbolic. It's spiritual to me. It is very spiritual to me. Dutch sense can tell where. No, I don't think so. Not at all. Nobody can. Nobody can. Blessings from Huntsville, Arkansas. Ruby Parton. Hey, Ruby. Hi, Rich. Ufologist from the UK, Richard Lenny. 333 is a master number. I know it's a very spiritual number to me personally. I have a spiritual testimony involving a testament with the 333. And I'll share that with you guys someday. I've shared it a long time ago. I'll share it again. It's not anything nefarious, so don't ever think that's not me. That 333 number is very spiritual to me. Happy New Year, guys. No, don't know anything about the 332. Nothing at all. Hello from Indiana. What's up, Ray Bear? Carl Jacobson, Curtis Bartell, Patty Brown. Happy New Year. Thank you, Saint, for the word 777. Spawn 23, Digital Revolution. Beans and Frank, there you are. Dutch sense is right more than wrong. Well, you say so. Wow, anxious to hear about it. Yeah, I'm still working on it, and it is so neat. And it's real. Everything I show you guys, to the best of my knowledge, is real. I would never show you something. It's too easy to prove. That's the thing. It's too easy to prove somebody that it's not fake. There's too much stuff going on anyway. You don't have to show fake stuff. And what I'm about to show you is real. Again, two people witnessed this from two different locations, 72 hours apart, 3 days apart, and it looks like the same thing. It's really cool. Really cool. So I'm working on it. Derrick City, North Carolina. Thank you for stopping by, North Carolina. 333 is God's numbers. I've heard that. It's very spiritual to me. Absolutely. Happy New Year to everybody. Yes, and we'll end this video with exactly that. Happy New Year, guys. Welcome to 2024. We made it. Another year. 2023 went by so fast. I will say this, we learned a lot in 2023. I know I did personally, and I know all you smart people over here in this comment room did too. You are the smartest people on earth. I know that, and I respect that. But let's see what we can learn in 2024. I'm ready. So let's go for it. Let's learn more in 2024 than we did in 2023. Let's do it. All right. I'm down. I'm ready to learn. I have a quest for knowledge, a thirst for knowledge that I simply can't quench. I know you guys do too. You're all very smart people, and thanks for stopping by. You're all great. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. Just know that the earthquake today was more than likely influenced by the very large X4, X5 class solar flare that occurred less than 24 hours ago. All right, guys, Happy New Year once again. Thanks for watching. Have a super day and be safe out there. I am